GameWorn Radio is on the air.
Hey! Chilton scores! Hopping the Cordova, baby! We're going bowling. Now, let's go on Moose on a Harley. The fires, he scores! LA face with an Oakland duty. Make me a bicycle. They score! Bowmeister paid that man his money.
GameWorn Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Derek, GameWorn Radio, part of GameWorn.us, and I'm here with my panel, and we're going to be doing live interviews today. We got Pete, Doc, Bobby, Dan, and Tom, most of the usual suspects, and it just dawned on me while I was doing some interviews, like, I've never interviewed any of you guys for the website, so I was just like, fuck it, we'll do it live!
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put you guys on the spot here, and we can do some Q&A back and forth. You guys can ask each other questions and shit like that. Figure why the hell not, right?
Sure, why not?
So who wants to be first up? Who wants to be put on the spot?
I'll go first. I mean, why not? I'm always on the spot.
All right, man. We'll get rolling with you. So first and foremost, I think most of our listeners know you're from Chicago and you're a Chicago fan, so we'll kind of skip that. But more interestingly, what do you do for like a living? How do you survive on your day to day?
I do. I handle basically where our family owns and operates 2 golf courses and commercial real estate holdings. So I'm a commercial real estate broker by trade, and so it kind of fits nicely there, and basically run developments and do our own builds and things like that. So we go from storefronts to single tenant scenarios, and and still try to stay in the golf business as a family owned. So, which is really tough, going up against big groups like Billy Casper Golf and other larger, well-funded and publicly traded entities. So.
Not bad. So, everybody probably sees the question on my interviews and things like that, and really it's been put on there for one specific person. Paul's always curious, what is your favorite beer?
My favorite beer is number 33 Rolling Rock.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Isn't that the shit that tastes like fucking pennies?
How we drank that in college?
Like pennies.
Listen, it's either that or I'll have to, go to PBRs, I'm a cheap date, so.
Collects game jerseys that are crazy expensive. Jeep drinks the shittiest fucking beer.
Well, we probably can't afford the other beers.
Next thing you'll be like Milwaukee's best. Oh, whatever.
No, what is the beer that those Cub fans? Oh, Schlitz is actually good. That Cub fans actually drink. What is that crap?
Old style.
Old style.
Old style. That's it. That's right.
Ugh.
I have
I should know
2
that. I
tall
used to
boys
work
of that
in
in my
radio.
fridge.
I had to say that. My bud rep, she'll kill me if I didn't say that. So.
All right, when did you start collecting? How'd you get into it?
I got into it around 1982, 83 area. I was, after I washed out of the Continental Hockey League, just started playing men's leagues and met a few guys that worked at Gunzo's that were also playing hockey, and started friendships, relationships there. And it took a while for me to get a game jersey from them, because they actually didn't really handle everything. It was the trainers that handled everything. So in the after the 85 playoffs, the little story is that it's like I walk in and here comes the head trainer of the Hawks. He walks in the back door of Gunzo's, and my friend says, "Will you sell him some GameWorn Blackhawk jerseys?" He goes, "Come here." So we go to his trunk, and he's got Bob Murray, Kirk Frazier, Steve Larmer, and home and road LC court playoff meshes. He says, I want to buy them all. He's like, $165 a piece.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Wow.
How did you keep a straight face?
I don't know, but I was like, can I write you a check? Because I don't have that much cash. So the guy so we go inside. I write it. He has to confer with my friend if I'm good for it. And I says, yeah, I think he's good for it. Don't worry about it. And then I'm sure you can get a few free rounds of golf too, which was perfect. So that was my first actual backdoor deal that I ever did. So gotta love those things. So with my relationships with them, they used to be down at the stadium as visiting stick boys, equipment handlers, helpers, helping the visiting teams come in, and kind of connected me with the Boston Bruins, and that's how I ended up buying the entire set of 86-7 Bruins jerseys. So I was praying for them to lose when they had that Game 7 against Montreal. So
It's the fucking wild, wild west of jerseys back then.
yeah, and these jerseys were just, unbeknownst to me, I didn't know they were all going to be just 1-year ultra fills, and they're hammered and are beat to crap. Nobody wanted to buy them. I was selling Cam Neely's for $300, and nobody wanted to, because they were too beat up.
Jeez. Oh Jesus.
Yeah. Ray Bork 500. Nobody wanted it. Again, too much wear. They're just worried about like wear. They were collecting like card collectors. They want everything pristine.
Ooh.
Sharp corners. You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
No, so quite a interesting, we'll say, evolution that you've seen in the hobby.
I've been around, and I've seen things that I've sold for a few $100, and then buy them back 20 years later into the thousands. So because I decided that I wanted to. At one time, I was getting divorced, so I'd gotten out, and then I got back into it in 2001 again. And then about 2003, I decided just to go all out and just do Hawks, and been on a tear ever since. So,
Jeez.
Yep.
So clearly, the majority of your collection is going to be Black Hawks. Is there any specific focus that you have?
Generally, I'm heavy into the 1980s and early 90s because I was season ticket holder from 81 to 94, the end of the stadium. So when I owned both Eddie Belfours from the 93-94 season, and then when the white one came up at auction, I had my own photo matches because I was actually my seats were sitting right behind the net. So you could actually see me sitting, in video, sitting behind the net while I'm holding my 15-month-old son, who is now 23, just in the video in that. So I'm shooting photos of Belfour, and you could see all the puck marks and stuff like that. So when it came up for auction, I already had my own photo matches. I got my own film and things like that. So it was a have to have. It's a kind of a memorial type, monumental type piece, not memorial type.
Right.
So,
would you say that's the favorite jersey in your collection, or you got a different one?
No, that is not.
All right,
it's
what
not
is it?
favorite. So I have, my home and road Jeremy Roenick Stanley Cup Finals were from the '92 finals. Are definitely my favorites in there because between them there's probably close to 200 repairs between two jerseys. And then my recent acquisition of a '61 Al Arbor finals just was something that is, for me, it's so rare because I've only seen two of the red versions, and the white versions there's never been one that's been confirmed, with solid photo matches and things like that. So for me to see two red ones in my lifetime in the 30 years over 30 years collecting is is for me, I just knew that I had to have that particular item because I'll never see another one in my lifetime, I don't think.
Huh. That's interesting. What would you say your favorite thing is about this hobby?
Favorite thing about this hobby is definitely the relationships and friendships that are built, because I've made a lot of friends. I've made a lot of people. I think it's the point of, say, I try to help people who are new in the hobby or don't know about, hawks or anything like that. Try to give them some wisdom and knowledge on where they should be, either with some little bit authentication or maybe a story behind it, or like values. Where do you think the value range is, and try to help them with that. And then sometimes I even tell them, it's like, oh, I used to own that 15 years ago, so it's a great piece, go for it. So
Yeah, when you're in it this long, you get to see a lot of stuff that is rotated out.
exactly. But I think the main thing is the camaraderie that try to build. Try to stay away from animosity, which it is in the hobby. There's no question about it. I just, I really don't need it. I'm too busy with work, family, and doing a lot of things. And actually, it got to the point where, work and family were becoming a lot. And I was considering getting out early this spring. But kind of relented in that sense. I think, I talked to Paul. I had Paul Rank, and Paul Rank and I are close, so we had a heavy discussion for a good hour, and and then I just kind of calmed down and relaxed a little bit, and just try to put things in order in succession. You definitely need to stay stable, and in this hobby, it's not cheap for anybody. I don't care what pay grade or how much money you make or what you spend at a level that you're comfortable with. And you could be a collector of any type of any type of scenario. Hey, it's like, I want backup goalies, or I just want numbers, number 50. Like, there's a collector that collects 55s, and things like that, or just particular teams, or just I want one jersey a year, and everyone's fine. So I think everyone has criteria that they should follow and afford. It should definitely not rule their life. I mean, that's one thing that I do feel. But again, it's up to the individuals and I think the hobbyists themselves. Hobbyists and archivists. So, we are better archivists than, I think, I'm going to say, probably get slammed for this, than the Hockey Hall of Fame, who gets stuff for free. And we work hard. We do more research, spending harder, and
Yeah, one of the things about the
just get it.
Oh no.
I think we're starting to lose you a little bit. But one of the things, about the Hockey Hall of Fame, a lot of people don't realize is a lot of the stuff that they get is donated to them. They get it, and they take the story with the jersey. There's no follow-up on it. So I think that's a huge thing there. That it's definitely the difference, the big difference maker for sure.
Yeah, I think that again, they have avenues. We would love to have an avenue. Go and just jersey from a particular game and say,
We're gonna. Pete's driving in his car right now. For those that are listening, he might go in and out of service based on where he is. Pete, we're gonna get back to you once we get your things. I'll give you a couple more questions that you can mull around. We'll get it back to you when you are in a better service area. One of them is going to be about expos that you've been to, and the other one will be about the future of the hobby. So once you get in a good service area, we'll continue on with yours. We'll move on to let's do Dan.
Sure.
Dan the man.
So
Dan, how's it going, man?
good.
What do you collect?
What do I collect? I've changed up a couple times. Now I like players. I'm always a Penguins fan, so I like always the Penguins first. But I like to collect players from the state of Michigan, where I'm from, and I also like to collect jersey players that kind of made a friendship with, kind of somebody that I know, kind of talk with them back and forth, something like that, you know.
Right, right.
So I kind of have a variety of stuff, not just one specific thing.
What do you do for a job?
What's that?
What do you do for a job?
Retired Navy, and now I teach 7th grade math.
There you go. Make the world a better place, huh? Well, he's trying.
Trying to, you know.
You drink shitty beer?
I like Ice Light. Is my favorite beer.
What?
Icy Light, Iron City.
Iron City, never heard of it.
Yeah,
It's a Pittsburgh beer.
yeah, it's a Pittsburgh beer. But I also like Angry Orchard. I like Coors Light. I like this, Sam Adams. So
I can get on board with the Angry Orchard.
yeah,
What's your favorite team?
Penguins.
Terrible. Who's your favorite player?
Oh man, I don't know if I have a favorite player that I just like. Oh, I just got to see that guy play. I like a lot of players. I like to watch. I like to watch a lot of players play. You know, so let's have 7. There's just
Dan, are you still there, man?
yeah.
Is your connection shitty?
I'm not sure if that's Dan's connection or it might just be background from Pete if he's in his car.
Hey, Pete, I'm gonna give you a ring back in a minute. All right.
All right, sounds good.
All right, go ahead, Dan.
My favorite all-time player is Lemieux.
Terrible. No, I'm just playing. He's all right. I just wanted to say terrible again. How'd you get started, man?
Well, I was a kid. I collected football stuff. Bounced around as a kid, do what you can. As I got older and was able to make my own money, I followed the Steelers pretty heavily. Even going as far as going to the hotels where they stayed at on the road and staying in the same hotels as the Steelers, chasing them around, doing autographs and stuff like that, shows. Did some card collecting, stuff like that. And then probably about 5 years ago, I would say now, I started to go to more hockey games. My son got involved in hockey more. Started to get to know some of the players, lower level players, of course. The Admirals were AHL at that time. So I started realizing that and football seemed to be getting harder to do. Hockey players, I just thought in general, as an overall standpoint, from top to bottom, were nicer, more respectful to the fans than some of the other sports. So I started gearing towards game-worn jerseys. I started seeing when the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins were putting theirs on eBay. I got one of their jerseys, and I just kind of fell in love with the game-worn jersey. I always liked hockey jerseys because I always thought they were really cool, really the cutting on them and everything like that. But kind of fell in love with the game-worn, so I started selling all my football stuff to have money to buy game-worn jerseys.
Yeah, fuck football.
And over that time, I've kind of muddled around. Am I going to focus on this? Am I going to focus on that? I like to trade, so I kind of change my focus sometimes to move stuff around because there's so many unique jerseys out there. And especially when you get to see someone play in that jersey and stuff like that.
What's the favorite jersey in your collection?
Probably one of my favorite ones because I was there. Probably my McKenna Senators jersey, Binghamton Senators jersey. But I don't think I have a Grail yet. If you want to say, I have that one's pretty special. My Trevor Gillies jersey, Portland jersey is pretty special. And I have a couple from guys that are like like really close, like my Brian Rolston jersey. Brian's from like my hometown in Flint. I have who else? Oh, Jim Slater. Jim
Damn, that's a
Slater.
lot of favorites, bro.
Hey man, I interview man. Shut the fuck up. Jim Slater's from Oxford, which I played against at school in high school and everything. So I like his jersey, but I don't think I have a grail, and I don't like to throw that word around. So
Well, say you had no concept of money, like you just had infinite monies. What's one jersey in existence that you would take out of every other one?
LMU jersey, probably
Which one?
the '91 Stanley Cup jersey, one who won the first cup for the Penguins.
Red, white, or black?
Black because that's the coolest color.
Okay.
I just like the black jerseys.
What's your favorite thing about the hobby?
Well, I agree with Pete some. I like the relationships that built. I like the players are nicer. I'm a real big person into that the players. How do I put this? If the players aren't respectful to the fans, you're going to lose me. And I know that they look at it as a job, and I blah blah blah, but I pay their salary by me collecting, by me going to the games. That's how I look at it. So if the player's a jerk, I'm going to lose them. So like I said, overall, hockey players I think are the nicest players. So I like that part of the hobby, being able to communicate with them, chase them down, meet them, shake their hands, get a stick, get an autograph, get a picture, whatever it is, and the relationships that built with the other collectors. And hockey jerseys are just cool.
What do you want to see for the future of GameWorn jersey collecting?
Well, probably like to see. I don't think you'll ever see standards like this is how it goes, so everybody knows what they're on the same page. You're always going to have difference of opinions across the country, across the globe, how people do business. I guess I would like to see. I like that the fact that teams produce, jerseys that more than one collector can have a jersey. But I can understand that respect that when they produce just one set, they have more wear and stuff on them. I guess consistency from the teams across how they do their jersey sales would be nice. So we're not, so as collectors are not out in the dark. Like if you're going to sell them on eBay, then sell them on eBay and be consistent. We're going to start selling them in July. Great, so I can look forward to it. Some teams have their expos, pretty consistently. I'd like to see that across the board more.
Speaking of expos, have you been to any?
No, I've never been to an expo. I was going to go to Migrate this year, and then of course ours that you're promoting came up, and I said, well, I'd rather save for
So you're
that
coming
one.
to April?
That's my plan.
Chicago in April? That's great.
Yeah, that's my plan. I had a little mini convention with Bobby there. I've been to a couple game, sales. The Admirals did them a couple years ago, so I've been to a couple of those. I went to the Hurricanes one. Just I don't live in hockey country, so it's kind of hard to go to that kind of stuff. And I've never even heard of the Caps having one.
We'll
even
pop your expo cherry here in April.
What's that?
We'll pop your expo cherry here in April.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Anybody have any questions for Dan?
Nope. Good.
Next up, Tom,
God damn it. Okay.
the Mad Russian.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about the Mad Russian? What's that mean?
I do pro wrestling every couple months as a Russian, or Soviet actually, more than Russian. I shave my head. That's why I have the beard. I grow my beard longer, and I put on a Soviet wrestling singlet, and people boo me, and I get paid for it. Not very much, but I get paid for it.
So clearly that's your side job. What do you do for a real job?
I'm a stay-at-home dad to
Fucking
3 kids.
jealous.
That's what everyone.
How'd you manage that?
My wife's job allowed me to do that, and seeing that I do actually have a bachelor's degree in early childhood education, but childcare and how much I was going to be making as a teacher, I would have broken dead even.
Yeah, dog shit.
so I'm not going to work for free.
Do you make her buy you good beer now?
Yeah, we drink good beer.
What beer's that?
I like Hoegaarden. It's a white. It's like a Belgian white ale.
Ah, there you go. That's some high class shit right there.
I bought it because I saw the name and it said Hoegaarden. I thought it was funny because like I want to drink some hose, and my wife's like just like shook her head, and it actually turned out to be really good beer. So,
What's your favorite team?
I grew up liking the Flames and the Blues, and then I became a Blue Jackets fan when I met my wife in '99. So those are the three teams I like.
What's that do for your favorite player?
My favorite player?
Yeah, do you go like current player, or do you have like a retired player?
I have both. My favorite retired player is Al McGinnis, and then current player, I like Johnny Gaudreau, or for goalie, I like Calvin Pickard. So,
All right, here's the big question for everybody. It's always, how'd you get started?
it was on a fluke, actually. As a kid, I collected baseball cards, but I got really bored of it. I actually have quite a few cards from the late 80s, a little bit of early 90s. I went to a Cleveland Cavaliers draft party. I know this sounds weird. At the Quicken Loans Arena, and then they had these little things stationed throughout the queue before the draft pick. And I saw one that had hockey on it. I was like, oh, that's quite interesting. I didn't know Cleveland had hockey. And so I went over to it, and the guy's like, yeah, we're minor league affiliate of the Colorado Avalanche. I was like, ooh, not really a fan of the team. I said, but it's hockey, so, he's like, well, just put your name and number. We'll get a hold of you, and maybe, we'll send you out to a game or something. I was like, okay. So I get a call. They invite me out to see the game. I enjoyed it. And at that game, they had a GameWorn jerseys that day, like the players were wearing. And I thought, wow, this is cool. You can actually bid on these. And I'm looking, and I'm like, wow, $250 to start out. I was like, that's kind of high. I said, I guess that's about as much as when authentic, but obviously if they're wearing it, it's going to go for it's got to go for thousands of dollars. So I kind of get noticed to it, and then we sign up for season tickets, and then I start learning more of how much. I asked them, I go, how much did you pay? I go, do you mind me asking how much did you pay for that game worn? With the specialty jersey. They're like, oh, I only, I spent like $500 something on it. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, that's kind of high. So my wife and I start talking, like, we really like one of them. Why don't we go ahead for the last game of the season? Why don't we save our money and then, put that amount in? Hopefully, if we win, that's great. If we don't, oh well, there's always next season. And lo and behold, we won. And then I was like, wow, this jersey has a couple holes in it. This is really cool. My wife's like, oh, we need to sew that up. I go, I don't think you're supposed to. This is really cool that, there's marks on it from, I think, a sticker, and there's holes. And I said, I remember him getting in a fight, and he scored a goal in this. So it was just kind of like a self-observation. I never knew you could actually buy game-worn jerseys. I always thought they went to museums or they were donated to charities or whatever.
And that's when the bug bit you.
Oh, yes. Very bad.
So what's the favorite one in your collection?
Probably the 93, 94 Al McGinnis I have. Or it might be the I think that's it. That's probably my most favorite.
All right, one jersey in the world that you could have. What is it?
Calgary Flames Stanley Cup final jersey, Gary Roberts.
What? Gary Roberts? I don't even know who that is, man.
I know. He was my favorite player growing up as a kid. He was one of my favorites. I like watching play.
Favorite thing about the hobby?
the token answer everyone has of, the friend, making connections with people from, around the world. And then for me, I'm excited to actually go to the expo in Chicago to actually put a face to some of these people instead of just seeing like their Facebook profile pic, or actually like get to sit down and talk to them, have a beer, and just chit chat and bullshit on everything. So that's kind of like what I like, is just meeting new people. Seeing that, I live kind of like with Dan. I live in a zero area of hockey. Like, it's not even discussed. Like, they don't even follow the Blue Jackets, which is 2 hours away, or the Penguins.
Well, have you been to an expo before?
I have not.
So this will be your first one?
Yes.
Very cool, man. Trying to think if I have any questions for you. Does anybody else have any questions for Tom? Seeing none, I see that Pete is back with us. So Pete, what are your thoughts on the future of the hobby? What would you like to see?
I'd like to see the new era and the vintage collectors somehow get along, combine, thoughts, and without ridicule. You're spending the same amount of money, let's say a few $1,000 on a new era player, and you can buy a really nice vintage piece. But the problem is that no one has an understanding of, like, I'll give you an instance. My 15-year-old has a patched goalie collection from 2007 forward. He has no idea who Bernie Parent is. He's a goalie. So you understand what I'm saying there. So there's a disconnect in eras that I think both, there should be some Q&A, over there to get other collectors and spectators and things like that interested in the hobby, and just to get to know exactly what our purpose is. It's not about like turning and burning jerseys to make 10% or 15% on your money. Or like there's a Canadian collector right now with a very nice collection, but as soon as the Canadian dollar went to $1.40, he's a big seller. He sold all his big items. He's making money on top of everything, and he's selling in U.S., which I get it. I understand. If that's the type of person that you are, investor, collector, then so be it. Well, if you're a pure collector and fan, it's different. But I'd like to see a little more. I mean, I'm hoping that the dealers and the teams themselves cut down on sets. That would be nice to see a little bit more action on the jerseys as well. Get more people involved. Saying, and then there's a lot of people that I think everybody's guilty of going to a game, seeing their favorite player wearing a jersey, and then you're like, oh God, I wish I could get that jersey.
Yep.
And that makes it very memorable occasion, so to speak.
Clearly, you're going to be going to the expo in April. Have you been into any other expos previously?
I went to Los Angeles 2004, and then I did Migraine in 2004. I did I think it was a 2008 or 2009, and I did Detroit a few times, but the nicest one was the Detroit with Gordie Howe. That was a great expo. Great, just a great gentleman. I mean, to meet him. And then I met him a few years later when I was actually helping Bobby Hull do his autograph signings. And I got Bobby Hull to the left, and then the guy sits down to me to my right. It's Gordie Howe. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I go,
Nice.
How did this happen? So we were talking and, just chatting, and Bobby's signing away, and Gordie's like laughing because he's signing, because Gordie was famous for pre-signing a lot of pictures, and he would hand them out to you, hand out as many as you can, and they're, it's all legitimate. The guy was thinking ahead. which was great. So that was probably with Gordie Howe. I mean, I think is definitely the ambassador of hockey, no question, hands down. So
And I know we got you video conferenced in for the one that we had in San Jose, which was pretty nice. Because unfortunately you couldn't make it.
Right, I ended up getting ill. Some weird idiopathic. Actually, my red blood cells crashed for no reason at all, and they thought I was bleeding to death. So I was sent to the hospital. And I go, I got to catch a flight. They're like, you're not going anywhere.
That's rough. Cool.
So-
Appreciate you joining us.
Anytime.
If you don't mind, just mute your mic until you have something to say. That'd be cool because of your speakerphone situation.
Okay, you got it.
Appreciate it, man. Cool. So for everybody that was listening, that was Pete. He's again driving, so he's on speakerphone in his car. All right, so we've got Bobby and we got Jason up next. Who wants to take the hit?
Let's do it.
All right, Bobby. All right, this is Bobby for everybody. Bobby. All right, man. How's it going?
It's good, man. Hope you're good.
Doing good. What do you do?
So I oversee corporate communications for a technology company. So kind of marketing communications, if you will.
Marketing and communications. I might need some of that sometime.
There you go. I can help you out.
Do you drink shitty beer?
I try not to, but my favorite beer is always the one that's closest to me. My other hobby is home brewing, so I really enjoy all kinds of beer. I just built a kegerator at home, converted an old chest freezer into a kegerator, and just tapped actually the first keg of home brew. It's a Hefeweizen, and just started working on the second beer that's going to go in there, which is a double stout. So, yeah, if it's beer, I'll drink it.
Are you coming in April?
I am. I cannot wait. I've never been to an expo before.
Bring beer.
You got it.
Cool. I want to try some of your beer. That'd be sweet. We'll do it up in the hotel.
Sweet. Yep, I'll put it in my check bag. I've got pretty experienced at checking beer without it.
You might as well bring a fucking suitcase of the shit.
There we go. I'll just bring a keg.
There you go. I'm down with that. What's your favorite team, man?
Well, I'm from North Carolina, but I live in Tampa, so I follow the Hurricanes and the Lightning.
All right. Yeah. I remember some of your Lightning pickups recently. Who's your favorite player?
My favorite player has not played in the league in quite a while, but it's Paul Ranheim.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, he played in the league. Actually, played 1,013 games. He played for a long time. He started out in Calgary in I think '88, and worked his way through Hartford, Carolina, Philadelphia, and then Phoenix. And he always stuck out to me because he was maybe not the most famous guy, and maybe didn't score all the goals, but he worked about as hard as anybody you'd ever see out there, as evidenced by his career. I mean, just to stick around in the league that long is a pretty impressive feat for anyone, and the fact that he was able to do it, and the work that he put in. He was given a kind of a role change early on in his career. He was a really fast skater, and coming up through the minors and everything, he was, and through college, he went to Wisconsin. He was kind of a scorer, and then once he got, I think it was when he got to Hartford. It was either when he got to Hartford, right before he got traded from Calgary. He was asked to kind of move into more of a checking line and penalty kill type of role, and it is the reason that he was able to last in the league for so long, because he fit that role so well, and I just was really enjoyed watching him play, and his perseverance was just really kind of like just something to aspire to, and I just he was just my favorite player and always has been.
Sounds like a familiar situation there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite jersey in your collection?
Actually, I think my favorite might be one that I just got last week. I know, it's crazy. I had been looking for one for a long time. I got a 2003-2004 Ron Francis Hurricanes jersey.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I collect Hurricanes. I have quite a few, pretty deep Hurricanes collection, and I've been able to acquire every other captain in franchise history. So Deneen, Primo, Brindamore, and Stahl, and I needed a Francis, and I've been looking for one for a long time. But I wanted one with a C, and I was just kind of picky, and the timing was never really right. And every once in a while, one would pop up, and I wasn't in a position to buy it or what have you. And the stars kind of aligned, and I just picked this one up, and it is trashed. I mean, the arms are just completely reconstructed, and I was able to photo match it, and it's from his last career season in the NHL, and it is one of, if not the last jersey he wore in Carolina. So it's just I'm staring at it right now. I can't believe it's hanging in my closet.
So is that the one jersey in the world you would want, or does there be something different?
That's a good question. I think the one I would want, if money was no object and searching was no object, it would be the jersey Brendan Moore lifted the cup in 06 with. That would just be amazing, his 06 finals jersey. I know that he sold it. He sold it at auction for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, their chapter out of somewhere in British Columbia. But yeah, that would be the one.
Most people go a little bit more older school than that, but that, to each their own.
Yeah, well, the memories associated with that one were just pretty unreal.
How'd you get started?
I got started in. I wanted to get started earlier, but I got my first jersey. I got in December of 1999. I had been going to games in Greensboro, North Carolina, after the Whalers had moved down from Hartford. And at first I was like, oh man, I want a jersey. I want a jersey to wear to a game. And so I got one, just a starter replica, and I put it on, and I was like, this is cool. And I was standing down there for warm-ups, and I was looking at the players, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure this isn't what they're wearing. And I was like, well, I want that. I want one of those. And so I went to the store, in the arena, and they said, oh, we sell these authentics. And so I asked them, I said, is this what they're wearing on the ice? And they said, well, this is definitely as close as you can get. And I left I'll never forget the game, because I left the game thinking to myself, that can't be right. Surely you can get closer than that. And the internet was kind of a thing, but certainly not what it is today. And I just started kind of poking around, and headed down the rabbit hole that is GameWorn jersey collecting, and found the old GameWorn.net forum, and poking around there, and actually made my first purchase from a collector I still talk to all the time. And I still have the jersey. And once the bug bit, it just stuck with me.
Very cool. I just got a chat message in about someone's praising you for selling the Malhotra jersey to the Malhotra collector. Oh
yeah. I when I was up with Dan at the Hurricane sale, I was lucky. I picked up a couple of Malhotras, and I know Lewis is a Malhotra collector. I'm really glad that he was able to get that, because I know what that's like. When you when you collect a player and there's a style that you need, and you know this, Derek.
Oh yeah.
As much as anybody. I mean, it's tough. So I'm really glad that was able to work out for him, and we were able to work something out.
What would you like to see for the future of this hobby?
What I would like to see for the future, I realize probably is never going to happen in my lifetime, but would be some kind of better coordination. The Grail would be just unrivaled coordination among the hobby. I think one of the things that is both exciting but also immensely frustrating is the pursuit of things. And there are so many different things that I would love to know if they even exist, and there's just no way to find out. There's stuff that I'll probably never ever know whatever happened to it, does it exist, etc. And I know there's been attempts, and we've talked even of attempts with different databases and things. And I know that a lot of guys are a lot more private over their collections than other guys. I try to make mine pretty open. I have, at least my hockey stuff, it's all on a Flickr account, so folks can kind of see what's out there. I would love there to be more coordination, some kind of a centralized way to, just as a collector, know what's out there. I don't need to pester somebody for something they're not looking to sell, but it would make, you'd rest a little easier knowing that perhaps our I won a 1988 Calgary Flames Paul Ranheim jersey when he wore the number 26. I have no idea if that jersey exists.
Very interesting you say that, because one of the things I'm working on for the redesign is actually doing a thing where you can put information out about a jersey that you may own.
Okay.
But you can mark it as private for those private people, so at least people can know that it exists.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about, because I think the search is so difficult. Even finding a Francis jersey. The way I found the guy that I bought the Francis jersey off of is one of the executives at the Hurricanes actually contacted me, and they knew a season ticket member who had bought a bunch of jerseys over the year, and they just happened to know that I collect Hurricanes jerseys because I bought them from the team before, and they said, "Can we put you in touch with this guy?" I would have otherwise had no idea that this thing was out there.
Yeah, we'll see if I can ever get that thing done. Oh, it just comes down to time, but we'll see. Any questions for Bobby? Anyone? Seeing none, thank you, Bobby.
Yeah.
I like saying Bobby. Jason, are you there?
What's up?
Man, the last one.
Best for last or the shittiest collector for last? Depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're about to find out, innit?
I guess so.
What do you do for a living?
What don't I do, I guess, is the bigger question.
Right.
Full time, I work at a university here as the IT manager for help desk, and I manage all our campus equipment, all that kind of stuff in IT. I also am a talk radio show host, also a rock radio DJ. Just recently retired from being a volunteer firefighter, and I run a cops versus firemen hockey charity.
Yeah, I've called into your show before.
Yes, you have.
That was a fun time. I recommend
Yes.
any fellow collectors calling into his show.
And I can post that info when I'm on and all that good stuff.
What kind of shitty beer do you drink?
I'm kind of all over the board. I do drink. I mean, my go-to if I am drinking beer is Coors Light, but anymore I usually drink bourbon. So I don't do as much beer as I used to.
Yeah.
Have you tried Kentucky Bourbon Ale?
No, that sounds interesting.
Sounds like something to get in Chicago.
I can bring some.
Yeah, we should be able to
Fan-diddly.
get that pretty much everywhere. But yeah, that shit's pretty good, man. So, St. Louis Blues, right?
Of course.
Who's your favorite player?
Gotta go old school just because he was a fantastic player, and I was sad when we had gotten rid of him. Of course, now he's passed on. Is Pablo Dimitra.
Oh, nice.
Just love the style of play he had, and just watch him on the ice was so cool.
Oh, no doubt. What's the favorite jersey in your collection?
Currently, and a lot of people laugh because half the people probably don't recognize the name, but I mean, he's not a great player by any means, is Scotty Upshaw. He came to the Blues last year during training camp on a PTO. The Blues ended up signing him, and he had a decent year, and I picked up his third set jersey, and both sleeves are just shredded, and I had some fantastic photo matches of it. And just, I love those kind of players because that's like the player I am. But just kind of you don't hear a lot out of them, and they're just kind of a grinder guy and just play the game and show up every game.
Yeah, definitely. Gotta love the workhorses, man.
I know I'll never be a flashy player, so I got to be something, I guess.
True. All right, so one jersey in the world. What is it?
God, if the Blues ever have a Stanley Cup Finals jersey. But outside of that, and it's actually one. I don't think it'll ever be obtainable, but it's recent. Is I'd love to have Brodeur's last Blues jersey. Because he didn't play that many games, but then he retired. I mean, that was the last team he played for, and I think he maybe only has 2.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. What's the favorite thing that you like about the hobby?
things like this. I mean, us doing this radio show, staying in contact with the guys on the show and others, and I've had God, I mean, one night Pete and I had a conversation, I think, till like 3 a.m. on the hobby and different things, and this kind of things is what makes it fun. It's not. I don't look at it from it being a business. I don't look at. I know I'll never make money off any of the jerseys I have, but it's not about that. It's about the enjoyment of trying to find photo matches, trying to see what kind of deals you can make, and working with the people. One of the groups I'm in was a big post. Somebody had posted that they were having issues with another buyer, and then the posting kind of got into, here's the people I've dealt with, and I got tagged by all kinds of people, and I thought that was kind of cool that my name was one of the ones that came up of good guys to deal with. But I try and make it that way, and even if I can't get a deal done with somebody, I don't go bitch about them behind their back or whatever. I'm like, oh, someday I might work with this guy. I mean, even like Paul and them, I've not had a chance to do any deals with him yet, but I've talked to him plenty of times and interacted with him, and with the expo coming next April, be able to hang out with all you guys and more face to face.
Fuck, I gotta bring my radio equipment. We gotta do a live show from there.
Oh, of course.
That would be dope. With all of us fucking coming.
Yes.
While drinking Bobby's beer.
It may be a long podcast, much longer than an hour.
I'll have to do 2 parts because it only lets me do an hour for free.
We can do Facebook Live with it too.
Oh, that might be good. Yeah.
You could do that in the group.
How did you get started?
Mid '90s, we have a junior team here called the Springfield Junior Blues. They're a North American Hockey League team. I started going to the games, I think 94, 95, and had become friends with some of the players, some of the host parents, things like that, and the guy that managed the team. And they had hockey jerseys come up for sale, and I think they were like $100. And I was able to pick up one of the guys who I liked, who I'd become friends with and liked at the time. And every season, we'd get to the end of the season, I'd buy some, or if they had specialty jerseys raising money for charity, I just kept picking up jerseys. And then I realized, I think it was like 99, 2000, or somewhere right in there, the Blues were doing an auction for theirs. But at that time, you actually had to print off the sheet from their website, fill it in, and then fax it back to them. And you didn't know if you were the winning or leading bids or what, but you would just wait to hear, and a couple weeks later, you got the call for whatever jerseys you won, and those were the first NHL jerseys, and just been able to buy, sell, trade ever since.
Nice. Cool. So, previous expos at all?
No, wanted to do a couple, just couldn't, timing-wise, couldn't pull it off, but I'm extremely excited about to be able to just come up 3.5 hours to Chicago and hook up with all you guys.
Cherry popping time.
Damn right.
Yeah, finally, what do you see for the future of the hobby? What would you like to see?
And a lot of guys have touched on it already, is the ease of access to information, the sharing of information, because some people, and not all, and I'm not knocking them, some people want to hoard stuff or want to keep it to their own private things, whereas others encourage, hey, if you got a question, throw it out there, somebody will find the answer somehow. And even if, I mean, it's everything from somebody puts a post out, hey, I'm looking for this jersey. Well, it may go through 7 collectors before they finally reach the person that has the jersey and they make the deal. Or people have hobby questions and you get a whole big mass of people all helping answer that question. It's those kind of things is making sure the hobby, while as some people treat it like a business, that it doesn't feel like one, that it's more of a, it's more about the fun. It's more about what we as collectors enjoy, because and we've talked about this in past shows, is people getting to touch rare jerseys. I know Dan mentioned it with Meet and Bobby, getting to touch and check out a Stamkos jersey, or in the case of one of the big collectors, Sean Chalk, letting people see and check out his Gretzky jerseys. Those kind of things are what make this hobby fun. Because if people are just buying jerseys, locking them in a closet, nobody's seeing them or getting to lay their hands on them, what fun is it?
That's true. Man, so any questions for Jason? Did I miss any?
No, but you need a Mitra jersey. That's for sure.
A lot of people kill for that one.
I know. I need one player.
I'm kicking myself in the ass because I had it was a game issued one, but I had one for a while.
Yeah, well, you never know, you know.
Hey, I got a question for Jason and I think Pete as well, or anybody who collects a single team. Do you guys have a favorite method for organizing your jerseys all from the same team?
I go by number.
So not by season or player, just simply number, just to keep it in order.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
I mean, my bulk of my jerseys, I go by season, and then it's like I have 12 LC cord Hawks, so I kind of segregate those with a few others. So
I do mine
but
by.
it's
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's your turn.
I'm gonna say, since I do multiple teams, I do by number. I start with because I have NHL, AHL, and ECHL. I start by alphabetically by the team, then the number, and then by the league. Like NHL is always first, and then it moves farther down the closet.
Okay.
Yeah, for me personally, I think I do it by like my level of like with the player, and then I sort theirs by season if I have multiples of that player. So
Yeah, I used to have a pretty good sorting, system in place. At least for Carolina, I would do by season, and then within season, I would do ascending numerical, and then that became so complex that I had these just like haphazard piles of just jerseys, just either hanging in random spots or whatever, and I've got to completely start over, and I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to do it is.
Oh my god, first world problems.
Right?
Jersey collecting.
The only better pictures are when you see the pictures of people's collapsed closets.
Yes.
Oh, those are my favorite, yes. Well, I don't have
I don't
that
know how
problem because
mine
I got
has it.
heavy-ass duty racks, man. Like, racks on rolling casters.
That's what I went to. I have 3 of them when Sports Authority closed.
I have 30 on one bar, and that includes having the kids' dress clothes on it too. My wife's like, "This was supposed to be for dress clothes. Now it's just your stupid jersey closet." I'm like, "Well, the kids can have their stuff in there too, so it's not a jersey closet." And it has yet to collapse, so it's kind of why I'm holding off buying any more.
So, really cool news. Dan got in touch with the Norfolk Admirals, and they're allowing him to assist in selling jerseys. So we got a page set up for him and everything with what's left, and he's been working on that lately.
That's awesome.
Congrats, Dan. That's awesome.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
get all that. And now, do they do an equipment sale too, or is it?
They haven't done one since they were with the Lightning. The Ducks, I heard, wouldn't let them do the equipment sales. Everything was mailed back to Anaheim, and then the Oilers this year. I thought they're going to do one with the Oilers. But they never did one. I don't know if it's because they were worried about what they're going to have for next year, so they decided to say what was good or not. But they haven't done it. So, kind of sucks because you ask about it, people want to do it, So.
It is what it is. But the
Yeah.
cool thing is, you got kind of the word into him about what the GameWorn hobby does and what we like. And I mean, granted, it's a volunteer position, but you're getting the word out there and trying to bring a little bit of what some of the guys are trying to get going or asking for, like standardization, which is nice.
Well, when they took me down there to take some pictures of the initial jerseys that you
I'm
posted,
gonna lose you in 15 seconds.
they were just in boxes. They have no organizational skills, and I just cringed. I was like, "Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?"
Well, that's it for the show. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week, and hope everybody has a good week. 2 weeks. Bye.